Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Open Door Hypnosis TV. I am Shara Prophet, the Mind Magic Coach. And today we're talking about Ouija boards. Sorry, my kitten put her paws on me. She left a little print there. Today we're going to talk about Ouija boards and whether or not Ouija boards are actual spirits communicating with us or if it's the subconscious mind communicating with us. So, this is something that a lot of people wonder about. We have believers who are, staunch believers in Ouija board and spirit communication. And then we have those of us who are scientists and who understand the way brain waves work and we understand the way the body works, right? So let's just jump right into this. So Ouija boards have been used for years and years and years for spirit communication, for seances and things like that. Okay. And a lot of people will warn you about how dangerous it is to work with a Ouija board because it's a portal and a doorway. Wow, she really got me good. Sorry. Sorry, guys. But anyways, how it's a doorway and a portal that will open up if you use it, and it will allow spirits and demonic entities and things like that to come through that could possess you or wreak havoc in your life in some kind of way. All right. So we know all of that, and there's a lot of scare business out there around Ouija boards. So let's talk about the scientific part of it. Hi, Nikki. How are you? That's okay. I'm glad to see you here. So let's talk about the science part of what a Ouija board is. Okay. So there's something called an ideomotor response in the psychology world. Now, an ideomotor response is an unconscious communication. It's a nonverbal unconscious communication that comes straight from the subconscious mind. All right. And you see evidence of ideomotor response in muscle testing when people have you hold an object and see if the object is good for your body or good for you. And if it's if it's a very strong response, then that response is yes. And if it's weak and the arm goes down, then it's a no. Okay. You also see, you can do this for muscle testing as well. Pulling with the non-dominant finger. If it breaks, then that means no. The answer is no. If it's strong, then it's a yes. Okay. Also using pendulums. I'm going to do a separate video on pendulums as well, how you can properly use a pendulum to help you get answers on questions relating to things in your life. Okay, we'll do a separate video on that. So it's the same thing when you're working with a Ouija board, okay? So basically there's electrical pulses that come from the brain, all right, that come straight from the brain. When you ask a question, the subconscious mind is answering that question, okay? So the subconscious mind is answering that question, and as that question is getting answered, it's sending signals through the body into the hands, because usually that's how we're testing for that particular answer, right? So for example, if you're asking a question of the Ouija board, is someone there? Okay, if someone there. Now, because the people who are in the room using the Ouija board have already kind of come to an agreement on a subconscious level that we're here to communicate with a spirit. We're here to communicate with an unseen entity or energy. And because we have heard stories in the past about people having actual communication with spirits while using a Ouija board, there's already a subconscious belief running. There's a unconscious program already running there that believes that this is a possibility, right? We've heard enough stories. People make movies about it all the time. There's tons and tons of YouTube videos out there that talk about the dangers of using Ouija boards, that talk about different stories being told about people who've used Ouija boards. There's also videos out there debunking. But I believe that we've heard the debunking has happened more recently, but the stories behind the experiences of using a Ouija board have definitely been out for quite some time. All right. So when three or more are gathered together, right? We have something that is called a collective consciousness, okay? When you just kind of unconsciously link brains with the people around you and you share this belief system. Even if some people are a little bit skeptical, they're still kind of wanting for something to happen. Now, remember, whatever the subconscious mind believes, the body must follow. Always remember that, okay? Whatever the subconscious mind believes, the body must follow. If you believe that you're going to connect with a spirit being, you're going to connect with a spirit being, okay? If that's your intention, you set the intention, even if you don't necessarily believe in spirits or you don't necessarily believe that this is going to happen, you've set the intention to utilize a tool to connect with a spirit. I'm not saying that the board is fake. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's not quite what people believe that it is. Okay. So I'm also not saying that something else can't come through, but in order for it to come through, it must come through you. Okay. So some entity out in the room is not going to move the planchette. Okay. If you are a person who is very open to energies like that, you will tap into an energy that will communicate through your subconscious, sending that signal down into the arm and causing the planchette to move. Okay. Now it's also, there's that, and that's for people who are very connected to the universal mind. Okay. There's a universal mind. This is where we catch those inspired ideas and those $1 million ideas, right? When we open ourselves, to that type of communication, when we meditate. Remember in the videos that I've done previously, I talk about how meditation and hypnosis can help open you as a vessel and a channel to receive communication from the universal mind. The subconscious mind connects to a universal mind where there are these signals constantly flowing and firing off. Okay. If you're open, you'll receive it. All right. Now, but then there's another side of that coin. There's also the belief. The belief is very powerful. Okay. So if everybody in the room believes that they're going to connect with a spirit while using this Ouija board, the subconscious mind has to prove that that's going to happen. And it happens through sending that signal down into the arms, into the hands, and causing a movement to happen. Now, there's been several studies done on this, and I'll look for a couple of articles that I've been reading, and I'll link them in the description box after this so that you guys can read those articles. And there was one experiment done where they turned the board over. They blindfolded the people who were playing with the board. They turned the board over. Okay. And people were still able to move the planchette, thinking that it was a spirit doing it. Okay. But it was just the fact that they already believed that they were going to make contact with a spirit or some entity. That belief was already there. So remember, whatever your mind believes or whatever you tell the mind, it has to bring it to fruition. It has to manifest. Okay. So when you're asking certain questions, whether you're playing with the Ouija board, whether you're playing with a pendulum, or if you're doing muscle testing, if you're using dowsing rods, okay, whatever question you ask, remember, subconscious mind hears everything. Okay. And if you already have that belief that you're going to get an answer, you will get an answer. All right. So I just want to kind of give you guys that little piece of information. Now, again, remember, there's two sides to that coin. There's that one side that says, because I'm open, okay, because I'm tapping into the subconscious mind, and it doesn't take much to tap into the subconscious mind, okay? Remember, the moment you draw attention to or your awareness to a specific object, thought, idea, or pattern, that's the moment that hypnosis starts, okay? Hypnosis is just a focused state of awareness, right? It's also a learning state. It's also an opportunity for you to get to communicate directly with your subconscious mind, okay? And you don't have to be knocked out in hypnosis. People drive in hypnosis. People walk around in hypnosis. People hold conversations in hypnosis, okay? Most people are walking around in hypnosis and they have no idea that they are in it, all right? So this is how powerful your mind is. Your mind can move things, can move objects. I've watched people move cups across the table. I have bent spoons, okay? And I'll do that on here as well. This is how powerful your mind is. I'm trying to get you guys to understand that. Everything is not coming from outside of you, okay? Things are coming from you. It appears to be coming from the outside, but it's really coming from you. So let's talk about what an ideomotor response is. I'm going to switch over real quick so I can read this to you guys. Okay, so ideomotor response is, like I said, a nonverbal communication. Okay, so IDEO, means an idea or mental representation. Motor is a muscular action, and response is nonverbal communication or unconscious motion. Okay, and according to the Professional Hypnotism Manual by Dr. John Kappas, my spirit mentor, all right, he's also the founder of the school where I attended and teach at, the Hypnosis Motivation Institute. You might want to pick this book up, the Professional Hypnotism Manual. He says that an ideomotor response is a subconscious reaction directly from the central nervous system that occurs when the thought of a movement produces slight tension in the muscles that would be used to carry out that movement, thus actually producing the imagined movement without conscious or voluntary action or effort. All right. So all of these things, all of these tools that we use as divination tools and things like that, they are fired by our energy, our own energy. All right. Now, you can tap into universal energies. You can tap into that. Yes, you can. I'm not saying that you can't tap into it, but it must come through you. Okay, it must come through you. This is the same thing when people have paranormal experiences, when they see something standing in the corner at night in their bedrooms. Okay, when they are receiving downloads and communications, okay? It's because it wouldn't be able to happen unless you were not a vessel through which these energies could flow. All right? It wouldn't be able to happen, okay? Because that's why we're here. If you've ever heard that spirit or the creator expresses through us that we are just expressions of that energy or that presence, it's the same thing all the way down the line. Okay, so when you think about spirits, when you think about demonic entities, I want you to, or if you feel like even if you feel like you're experiencing that, okay, if you feel like you're having communications with demonic entities or spirits or anything like that, I want you to take a minute to think, what are they trying to tell me? What am I trying to tell myself? Why do I need to have this experience right now? Okay. It's awesome to have the experience. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying if you're going to do it, don't do it from a place of fear. Do it from a place of understanding. Okay. And know how to truly use these tools. So don't just sit down with a Ouija board and just think, okay, we're just going to willy-nilly call in some stuff. Understand what it's coming from and really your intention to use it for a good purpose, for a proper purpose, okay? If you sit down with it and you believe, if you have a little bit of fear that you're going to conjure up some sort of demon while you're using it, then that's what you're going to do. You're going to have an experience that something malevolent is coming in and wreaking havoc in your life. It is self-imposed. Okay, it's self-imposed because, again, that energy, it cannot come unless it comes through you. Okay, it can't. Even if you're in a haunted house, it had to come through the last person that was living there. That's why they tell you, if you are a magician, if you practice magic, if you have casted spells on a home and you're moving out, you have to do a cleansing of the home before the next person comes in, because your energy is still there. And the deities or the energies that you've worked with have been working through you. They've been expressing as you through you, okay? And that energy is still there in the house, right? So we have the power to, we leave impressions. We leave impressions, okay? So I am not in any way saying that someone can't come into a house and experience some sort of activity. But you have to understand that the activity comes through the last person that was living there, because they didn't do a full cleanse, or maybe they didn't have a chance to cleanse. They just got up and left because they didn't know to. They didn't know to do that, okay? So just keep that in mind, that whatever you want to experience is going to be what you experience. Whether you're playing with the Ouija board, whether you're conjuring up spirits, whether you're calling forth demons, whatever. If you want to have a good experience, you'll have a good experience. But if you are scaring yourself and you're believing, oh my God, this could be a demon coming through here and it might wreak havoc on my life, that's what's going to happen. Okay. I listened to a lot of horror stories and podcasts on YouTube, because that's what I love to do in my pastime. And I think I'm going to start doing that too. I'm going to start narrating stories as well, because I just love it so much. And I got this beautiful microphone, so I can do it now. But I was listening to one story, and the guy was saying how he had found this watch, and he was saying that the watch was possessed or held like magical powers or whatever. And every time he would wind the watch, something amazing would happen, right? He'd win a lot of money, or he would get a raise, or get a call for a new job, or got a girl, said yes to go on a date with him. But the moment the watch stopped working, or the moment he stopped winding the watch, all of the good fortune that he had amassed kind of dwindled away. Now, what I took from that was that because he put so much energy and investment into this watch, saying, oh, all of these wonderful things happen, it must have been because I winded this watch up. As soon as I got this watch, all of this stuff started happening. That's a belief system. That's a belief. So when the watch is no longer wound and it's not ticking anymore, the subconscious mind says, oh, well, that's not working, so everything else is probably going to fall apart now. So you have to be in, even though it's not a conscious thought, right? It's not a conscious thought. It's a subconscious thought. It's an unconscious belief running underneath there, okay? And so you can see how our thoughts, our minds can affect everything around us, even the movement of a planchette, okay? So I hope that this video has been interesting for you guys. Do you have any questions for me before I sign off? Any? Okay. So I just want you to check out that book, The Professional Hypnotism Manual by Dr. John Kappas. Okay. Definitely check that out. It's very interesting if you want to learn more about hypnosis and more about how the subconscious mind works and things like that, more about suggestibility and things like that. That's a great book to check out. Okay. And I'll pull those articles up and I'll post them here underneath the video once I'm done, and you guys can check out those articles debunking the Ouija board phenomena about, demons coming through the portal. You're the portal, honey. You are the portal. It's not a board. The board is just it's just material, it's just wood, or it's just cardboard and plastic until you touch it. You must touch it in order for the planchette to move. Now, if it was something from the outside, right, causing the movement, you wouldn't need to touch it. It would just move on its own. You would be able to ask it questions and the planchette would just move all over the place. But people have to have their hands on the planchette in order for it to move. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Right? Okay. Don't be afraid of it. Anything that you play with or use that you have a belief that it's gonna, bring some sort of like paranormal activity into your home, do your research first before you play with it. Do your research and get very clear in your mind what kind of experience you want to have before you do it, because it comes through you. All right. So no, I'm not saying that the board is fake. I'm saying that the board has no energy and no power in it until you touch it. And it's not from the outside. Has to come through you or come through the people who are playing the game. It's a game. Okay, it's a game. It's the same thing with cards, with tarot cards. I tell my clients all the time when I do readings, this is your energy. This is why I had you touch the cards. I had you cleanse the cards with your hands. I had you focus on the question that you had. You don't have to tell me what your question is, but just focus on it. This is your energy. This is your subconscious mind giving you the answer to your question. Because the subconscious mind is connected to that divine, universal, cosmic mind that has all of the answers. But in order for us to get the answers, it has to come through us, right? Comes to us in dreams, comes to us in meditation. Okay. So it has to come through us, and we have to ask, and you have to ask a question in order to get the answer, right? So even with, and remember, haunted houses is residual energy left over from another human being. Okay. So I'm not saying haunted houses don't exist. I'm saying, yes, they do. I grew up in a haunted house, but it would not, the house itself couldn't be haunted unless the energy was able to pass through another human being. Okay. So when they leap out of the body, okay, they leave behind their essence, and it's energy. That's all it is just energy. It's just energy. All right. Demons, what are they? Aspects of the self, aspects of the lower vibrational energy that resides in all of us. We have high vibrational energy, we have low vibrational energy. Okay. So angels are considered to be in the higher vibration, demons are the lower vibration. All right. And they have power because you do too. Your lower vibrational frequencies are very powerful. Okay. As they're just like the higher vibrational frequencies are powerful. All right. So learn more about your subconscious mind, people. Read more. Okay. Don't buy into the spook lore and scare business. All right. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you see a shadow standing in the corner, the first thing you need to ask it is, may I help you? What do you have for me? What are you trying to tell me? Okay. And I'll do a separate video on people who have real tumultuous paranormal experiences, because I have worked with a few clients who have dealt with those types of situations, and we were able to crack the code and break it down. They were able to move out of that. And I was watching, there's a TV show that comes on called Haunted. It's like one of those like docudramas or whatever, where these poor people are like, living these, they're depressed, they're sad, they're afraid they're going to die because they're having these experiences with these entities that are haunting them, but they're not realizing that you went through it. Most of them have experienced some sort of trauma in their childhood. Okay, that's what I'm noticing as I'm watching this stuff. Watch and begin to watch stuff for information. Don't get so wrapped up in stuff that you forget to get the information out of it. Okay. But most of them have some very traumatic experiences in their childhood. Okay. And they come out as monsters. Abuse. One family saw their parents were murderers, and they saw, their parents murdering people when they were kids, and they would have all of this demonic activity in the house. They blamed it on, their father being a devil worshiper. But really, if you see that if you're suffering from that type of trauma, your brain has to do something with that energy. It has to do something creative with it. So and it has to release it some kind of way. So what happens is it turns it into a physical manifestation. Okay, in order for you to deal with it, because otherwise, if you hold it in, the body will have a reaction to it, and it won't be able to sustain itself. So the brain has to do something. It has to get that information out. And sometimes it comes out like a projection of a demonic entity, of a shadow figure. Okay. But I'll do a separate video on that later on. All right. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it 2 thumbs up or 1 thumb up. I don't know. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Feel free to share this video, okay, with your people or network or whatever. Pull out a Ouija board, play with it, see what happens, okay? And be sure to remember what I'm saying about the Ouija board. It has to come through you. That's why you have to touch it. Otherwise, it's not going to move. All right. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining in today, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and don't forget to check out my website and take a look at the Be Magic course. I have a few more spots left for people. If you want to sign up, the deadline is May 10th. That's the deadline for the early bird special, where you get $500 off of the cost of the program. We must do an interview over the phone before you can sign up for the program. So please do that first before you pay your money. Go ahead, click the little button that says schedule an appointment, or you can just call me, send me a text, okay, and say, hey, I want to sign up. Can we set up a time for the interview? And I'm doing interviews because I just want to make sure that it's a right fit. I'm not here to just let anybody join in on the class. I want to make sure that the chemistry is right, the energy is right, and that you understand fully what's going to be happening in the class. Because, I don't want you, if you're a staunch, super religious person, I don't want you coming into the program and not being fully present and available because we're doing magic. Okay. And if it's something that, goes against your belief system or whatever like that, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and I don't want to waste your money and my time. All right. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. I love you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.